One bright afternoon, the king was resting in his grand royal chamber, high up in the castle, when a loud voice echoed from the courtyard below. "Fresh apples! Sweet, juicy apples for sale!" The king rose from his bed and looked out the tall, arched window. Down in the dusty lane, he saw an old farmer from the countryside, his face weathered and wrinkled by years under the sun, wearing a simple woolen cloak and a worn cap. He was leading a skinny donkey loaded with two large baskets overflowing with bright red, ripe apples. A sudden craving for the fresh apples stirred in the king's heart. He called for his prime minister and ordered, "Go to the royal treasury and take 5 gold coins. Bring me the best apple from that farmer." The prime minister went to the treasury, took out 5 gold coins, and handed 4 of them to his deputy, saying, "Take these 4 gold coins and buy 1 fine apple for His Majesty the King." The deputy kept 3 coins for himself and gave the remaining one to the castle steward, instructing, "Here's 1 gold coin. Go and fetch a good apple for the king." The castle steward took 2 coins from his pocket, after keeping 1 for himself, and called the chief guard. "Take these 2 gold coins and quickly buy an apple from the man selling them near the gate." The chief guard took 1 coin and handed it to the soldier standing at the castle gate, ordering him sternly, "Listen, take this gold coin and buy all the apples from that noisy peasant down the lane. His shouting has disturbed the king's peace." The soldier rushed out, but instead of paying, he grabbed the poor farmer by the collar and shouted, "You ignorant peasant! Don't you know this is the king's castle? Your loud voice has broken His Majesty's rest. I have orders to arrest you." The terrified farmer began to tremble. He clasped his hands and begged, "Please, sir, forgive me. These apples are the fruit of 1 whole year of my hard labor. Take them all, but please don't throw me in prison." The soldier quickly seized both baskets. He kept some of the best apples for himself, then handed the rest to the chief guard, saying, "These are the apples I bought with 1 gold coin." The chief guard took a few apples for himself and passed the remaining ones to the castle steward, claiming, "These apples were purchased with 2 gold coins." The castle steward selected the ripest ones for himself and sent the rest to the deputy minister, saying, "Here are the apples bought with 3 gold coins." The deputy minister kept some choice apples and delivered the rest to the prime minister with the words, "These are the apples acquired with 4 gold coins." Finally, the prime minister selected the last 5 perfect apples and presented them proudly to the king, announcing, "Your Majesty, you asked for just 1 apple, but the farmer was so generous that he gave these 5 fine apples in exchange for the 5 gold coins." The king looked at the apples, smiled with satisfaction, and said, "My people are truly prosperous in my kingdom. 1 gold coin for each apple. What a fair deal. It is time we raise the taxes again, so that we can properly fund the royal expenses." Just a few weeks later, heavy new taxes were imposed on the common people. Workers began to starve for bread. Farmers fell deep into debt, and the markets became empty and lifeless. Poverty spread rapidly across the land. Even small acts of injustice are the foundation of ruin. A little corruption, if left unchecked, grows into a great evil. It becomes a habit, and in the end, it destroys both the ruler and the ruled. A wise king must pay attention to even the smallest matters concerning his people, because negligence in small things opens the door to chaos and corruption. Lessons. Oppression does not always come with a sword. Sometimes it begins with a single coin. Minor corruption, when ignored repeatedly, eats away at the system like rust on iron. A government can survive without perfect justice for a while, but it cannot survive with tyranny. A ruler who makes decisions based only on reports without proper investigation is playing with the destiny of his people.